Hello there, my name is Dr. Grayson Ernst with Salutogenesis Chiropractic. I wanted to put together a quick video, and the trick here is going to be making it quick to talk about some diet and nutrition guidelines and advice to help people, especially as their New Year's resolutions have come to a crashing halt as they're trying to lose weight and understand how to do that in a healthy way. I have personally found, and my wife has also found, Dr. Kat has also found that it's really, really hard for people to understand how their bodies work, what the fuel systems are, how to hack that body to get the best results out of it. So she made this really wonderful presentation and actually did a really cool workshop. And I was like, you know what? We need to share this with the world. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward here and share with you guys this first piece here. First piece you can see on your screen is let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. That's from Hippocrates back in 500 BC. He also really recommended looking to the spine first for many ailments. He was really way ahead of his time, and he's considered to be the father of medicine. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. Hang on. Boom. Okay. So the first question that a lot of people have, and I've noticed that they almost are oriented on the wrong problem set, and that is, what do you want? Right? What do you want? Is your goal just to lose weight? Because then you might be losing muscle mass, you might be losing a whole lot of things, right? Or is your goal just to cut down fat, right? You can actually maintain the exact same weight and just cut fat and gain muscle mass. And on the scale, you'll look the exact same. Many people who begin working out, they notice this. They're like, I haven't lost a pound, but I'm working out like an animal, right? And it's like because that fat is transitioning to muscle, okay? So the trick is that most people fail at their dieting goals, and they fail because they're looking to lose weight. So they cut calories across the board. They think, oh, well, I'll just reduce all calories across the board, but they're hungrier than ever. They have low energy. They're crashing like crazy. Their metabolism crashes. They have hormone problems. They have all these issues, and it becomes overwhelming, and eventually they just stop. They're like, I just don't have the willpower to continue, right? But what if there was a way to eat really delicious, wonderful foods, pretty much as you want, not feel hungry, and actually just burn away all that fat, and by the way, get loads of health benefits while you're at it? Okay, that's what we're here to talk about today. Okay, so first question is, why are you overweight? Okay, most Americans are overweight, and this is actually in the scientific literature. It's called the Standard American Diet. SAD. You got it. That's what America eats. And it is largely based off of the original food pyramid that we were all taught back in health class, which, by the way, has zero evidence to support it and is the biggest hunk of garbage I've ever seen or heard of. And it causes a lot of chronic disease and illness. The really, really big trick is that most people who are gaining weight, it's because they're eating so much sugar. And sugar is in everything. When you go to the grocery store, all the stuff in the middle, 90% of all those aisles, it's honestly sugar. It's garbage. Your body can't deal with it and cope with it every day for every meal. It is just too much. And your body gets burnt out. Type 2 diabetes going through the roof even amongst children. It's because of their high sugar diet and their high sugar consumption. If you lower that sugar down, you don't listen to that standard American diet, pyramid that's been killing Americans for the last, 40 or 50 years, you will suddenly see amazing results. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these things here. Hang on. Okay, symptoms of a sugar diet. Let's take a look at. They happen to be all the same problems that tend to affect Americans. Things like obesity, diabetes, cancer, depression, leaky gut and different types of gut problems and sensitivities, thyroid dysfunction. 1 in 8 women in America have a thyroid problem. You got all these different autoimmune issues that is so rampant and widespread. And then you've got different neurological issues. All of them have been linked to consuming too much sugar. They've all been linked. And many of them can be reversed or greatly reduced if you simply reduce your sugar intake. And my wife found this really cool thing. Time Magazine has been a bit ahead of its time on a lot of really cool health trends and to let people know what the new data and research is that's coming out. So that was a recent publication. All right, so here's a good schematic. It kind of represents how the body works in relation to fats and sugars, right? So you can see on the left here, you've got your excess carbs and sugars, right? They're all coming into the bloodstream, right? When the body has an excess of sugar in the bloodstream, it's been dumped full of glucose, right? Your blood sugar is going to spike, And all of a sudden, your adipocytes, your fat cells, go into overdrive because they're like, look at all this excess. We've got to stick it all away, right? And you start to lay on those pounds. It is not actually healthy fats that make you fat. I'm going to repeat that for you. It is not healthy fats that make you fat. There has not been a research article to prove this. And they've also tried to link high cholesterol with consuming cholesterol. That's why for a while you saw, oh, eggs and butter are terrible, but no research article has ever supported that. So all these health advice that we've had for years and years, it's sad. It's not evidence-based. And what I'm giving you today here is not only evidence-based, but also things that doctors across the country are waking up to and trying to tell their patients about. Because for a long time, doctors didn't give nutrition advice, and we need to. It is the first line of defense. It creates the chronic diseases that we have, most of them. So let's go ahead and talk some more about this, okay? So another byproduct of high sugar diet, which most Americans are on right now, is that you get all these other diseases, and they're largely related to inflammation, okay? When your body is inundated with sugar, especially at every meal, every day for years, your body's not designed to deal with this, okay? Inflammation goes through the roof. Atherosclerosis goes through the roof. Joint and back pain go through the roof. Heart problems go through the roof. And it's all because your body cannot cope with this incredible inflammatory load that you're putting onto it. And then we wonder, we're like, well, why are autism rates going up? And everybody wants to make it a single factor. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. And none of the research supports that it is solely one single item. It's not. Actually, what it is a perfect storm that you put on a child of a terrible diet that's pro-inflammatory. Their gut and immune system is absolutely destroyed. They're not getting outside and exercising and being kids, right? They're spending all their time not socializing and building those kinds of bonds, but instead on computer items. And then you add other big ones that are super controversial, but you can add them. You can talk about things like different medications and vaccines that really make it tough for a little kid, right? Once you put all that stuff together, you can't be surprised when a kid's got issues. You can't be surprised when you have these problems getting worse and worse and worse. And it's not one item, it is a confluence of all these factors. And it all begins with having a really healthy gut and a really healthy diet. If you do that, the body's ability to adapt goes through the roof. And all of a sudden, your risk of these problems goes way, way down. So what people don't realize, this next slide is so interesting. What you're seeing on the left is a brain on sugar, and on the right is a brain on cocaine. Crazy, right? Your brain is wired to want that sugar more, lights up more, the same spots as cocaine. Is it addictive? Sure it is. If you try to give up sugar, are you going to have, a tough time initially? You absolutely will. Your brain is going to say, oh my gosh, we're dying. Things are crazy. They're terrible. And then all of a sudden, after a few days, maybe a week, all of a sudden just quiets. Quiets right down, and you gain control of your life. Instead of sugar controlling everything in your life, probably your family's lives, and then also all of your future health choices, right? So here, I'm going to skip that one here. So the secret, that previous slide was a secret, right? The secret is to turn your body into a fat burning machine by using the proper fuel, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm going to see how this is presented here. Yep, eat good fats and cut the sugar. We've kind of talked about this, and then it's going to talk about the keto diet. So let's go ahead and let's go into this, okay? The way to think about it is that your body has two major fuel systems it can use to operate, okay? On the one hand, you've got sugar, right? And sugar is this high octane boost, right? But you can't have a healthy engine on this. Not if you're running it all the time, burning it up, right? And then you've got the fat burner side. This is ketosis, right? This is often referred to as a ketogenic diet. Paleo hacks into the same system. The South Beach diet, the Atkins diet, all these fad diets are all trying to hack the same system. And if you actually just understand the system, you don't need the gimmicks in the diet. You actually just understand how the system works. Now, here's the trick, though, is that your body is not designed to be a long-term sugar burner. It isn't. up until 100 years ago, humans didn't even have access to this much sugar, right? It is not something your body is designed to handle, right? Your body is designed to handle lots of great veggies, lots of great meats and healthy fats. This is what your body needs. Okay, so how does ketosis work? Okay, how do I get into ketosis, right? How do I turn into this fat burner and I give up on the sugars, okay? Well, so the first step here is just cut down your consumption of sugar and carbohydrates. And sadly, does that mean breads and pastas? Yes, I'm sorry. And if you're from Madison, New Jersey, all you Italians out there, I'm sorry. You got to cut back on the pasta. There are healthy options, but you got to cut it back, right? What's going to happen is that your body then is going to find an alternative fuel source. It's going to use good dietary fats. This has a few pictures of like avocados and coconuts, really good sources of healthy fat, right? Step 3 there is going to be that without the glucose in your body, you're going to start to burn that body fat. And you're going to produce ketones, right? Your liver is going to start producing these. And once these ketone levels get high enough, you're going to truly enter ketosis. And then your body just starts burning off the fat, okay? Now, the cool thing is that if you're like, well, Grayson, how do I know if I'm in ketosis? I'm doing this diet thing. This lifestyle is so tough to change. My brain is going crazy because all I want is sugar. What do I do, right? And what's really cool, you can go to Walgreens right now and pick up these things called keto sticks. And all you got to do is you pee on it. 15 seconds later, it changes a color. And if it changes color, it'll show you on the bottle what the different colors are and what they mean. You can easily tell whether you're in ketosis or not. So this is a great quantitative way to know whether you're successful and whether your sacrifice that you're doing and your dedication is paying off and if you're doing the right things. Okay, so what we did with this slide, we wanted to show you the difference between fat and sugar, right? And some of the things on the right that you're looking at, the sugars, you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was sugar, right? Meanwhile, on the left, everything you see looks delicious, by the way, and it's super healthy. And after you eat it, you feel better. A lot of people don't realize when you eat food, it should make you feel awesome. And you should feel awesome after you eat it. If you eat a McDonald's hamburger and you feel like garbage for the next 4 hours, you probably didn't eat the right thing. Your body's letting you know, I'm crashing. This is not good. I'm really struggling here, okay? So, stopping the craving, all right? So this was the thing about, just making sure that you know that you got to get over that initial hump, that initial sugar hump that you're going to have where your body's going to be like, I need sugar right now. And you just got to be a little bit strong. You got to say, no, body, I'm pushing this for 2 or 3 days. I'm kicking this thing, right? And all of a sudden, once you get past that hump and you're in ketosis and you're burning that nice, steady fats, you're just going to notice that all those intense cravings just kind of go away. Okay, so here is a Harvard study. This was a really cool study on 2 groups, right? And so one group did high fat, and the other one got rid of the fats and did carbs. And as you can guess, and as you can see from the results, man, the high fat group just dominated, okay? This is a sad thing about modern medicine when you look at research, okay? It's really, really easy to find a cruddy study, to include it in a review, or do whatever you want to do to push whatever angle you want to push, okay? When it comes to diet nutrition, I see this a lot in literature. So let's take, for example, vegetarians or veganism, right? There are some studies that say, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing ever. Your heart health, is through the roof. Cancer goes down to nothing. It's the best thing. All your chronic diseases disappear. And then one group over here says, no, vegetarian and veganism, it's terrible for you. It's terrible for your body. It's just absolutely awful. Well, the sad part is that if you eat nothing but sugar cookies all day, you're technically a vegetarian. You technically could be a vegetarian. You could easily cut out whatever you want to replace certain items with and have sugar the whole time. You could be just fine. You can eat sugar all day, every day on a vegetarian diet and be the most unhealthy human being on the planet, right? And so that's what threw off all those studies and why some studies don't seem to support vegetarianism and veganism, which, by the way, I personally believe you should consume animal fats. I think it's important for brain health, but it doesn't mean it's not a healthy alternative. It's not a reasonably healthy alternative. Eating lots of good veggies is a great option, right? Because you just got to get the sugar out of it. When you look at all these different research articles, just get rid of the sugar and all of a sudden the data becomes clear, okay? So let's look at this next one here. Okay, here was another review of 23 randomized trials with low-carb, high-fat subjects, and it just found that they were amazingly successful. This is what doctors across the country have found in their own clinics. This is what doctors are finding on the ground, working with patients, and this is also what the literature shows if you do a really good literature review, okay? So this is a ketogenic food pyramid, and this is my argument. My argument is to throw away the food pyramid you were taught in health school because it was legitimately, they've done $700 million studies on that thing. It's legitimately just been disproven. I don't even know why the federal government continues to push it, right? But this is what you should really be thinking about, right? Look at that base. Look at the bottom. The bottom there are healthy fats and proteins, right? You're moving up and you're getting into oils and all these really good healthy vegetable oils, right? Things like olive oil, coconut oil, medium chain fatty acid oils that are so, so good for you, right? Then you're working up into your veggies and your nuts. And then at the very, very tip top, you got things like berries, okay? People ask me all the time about fruit as an aside. I'm not against fruit, but fruit is sugar, right? Now, if you're consuming orange juice from the store, you should really take a look at the back because you're going to notice it's got more sugar packed into that thing. It's been processed a whole bunch. It's not like you're taking a blender and taking an orange, peeling it, and then all of a sudden you've got this great smoothie, right? It's not that, okay? And that's my argument for you. My argument for you is get these wonderful, really healthy whole foods. If you want to cheat on something sugar, cheat on some really good fruit. If you're going to do it, you're going to get so many vitamins and nutrients, it's going to be amazing. But to get into ketosis, to get into that fat burner, to kick that sugar addiction initially, you should really be pretty strict, okay? Let's go ahead and keep talking here. So, all right, so my wife, Dr. Kat, put together this amazing grocery list, and she actually has this hack food menu for a day. If you're trying to get into ketosis, it's also really awesome. I'll go ahead and link it to the site when we've put this video up because I want everybody to have it. Because honestly, the reason we made this thing is because we couldn't find it anywhere. Nowhere could we find a simple grocery list that laid down simple principles on health, that made it consumable, that made it so that people could do what they wanted to do and get the results that they wanted to get. And they also didn't know how to prepare it. Most Americans nowadays don't know how to make homemade, great, healthy, nutritious foods. What's interesting is almost everybody, either their mother or grandmother knew how to do it, or they had family members who knew how to do it. It's been lost. It's been lost to processed foods. And processed foods are largely consumed with chemicals and largely have a whole lot of carbohydrates and different things in them. You've lost all that nutritious value, and then you get all these negative side effects that we've never seen before. Nothing's changed in our genetics. Everybody wants to link genetics to all these problems. There are truly genetic diseases out there. Most of what people are talking about right now, though, it's not. Autism is a great example. I hear this all the time now. Oh, autism, genetics, blah, blah. You may have a genetic marker that would make your child more at risk than the next kid. But we went from 1 in 250 kids having autism or less to now that's 1 in 70. Now for boys, like 1 in 40. It's an epidemic. It should be aggressively attacked. And here's the thing. Everybody can get all excited and it can get all over the news and we have some big thing. I was a Marine, right? So it's like, oh, Al-Qaeda went out and killed, 100 people, okay? It hits the news. Everybody knows about the Taliban, right? Thousands of kids are hurt every day. Every day they've got obesity and chronic illnesses and disease and are dying early. Every day Americans are dying. Look at the average age of an American adult. It just declined. For the first time in our data's history. And every other country in the world who's not listening to the things we're doing, who's pushing really healthy living, like Japan and Canada, all these different groups, their numbers are doing great. Why is America falling behind so badly? They're almost at a third world country status in terms of our health. Why? And that's the real reason. We gotta focus on some new priorities here, okay? So people want to know, all right, I know I'm sick. I got all these autoimmune problems. I'm sick all the time. I can't beat a cold to save my life. Somebody sniffles next to me. I'm already sick. What do I do, right? First thing you do, get on a really good bone broth. Get on a really good, wholesome, healthy bone broth, right? It is so full of good nutrients. It heals the gut, and the lining of the gut replaces itself every 3 days. It's super, super aggressive. So if you just make a big change and you stick to it, you're going to start seeing results really, really fast, and you're going to start really noticing it. Okay? So a lot of people, we say, hey, start off with bone broth. Maybe for a day, that's all you eat. You just take in all these good, nutritious fats, and you just let the system try to heal itself, because this is going to help the gut lining to recover. Okay? So, what does it look like when you eat a ketogenic diet? Well, these are some examples. This is my life, just so you know. My life is what you see on the screen, and it's amazing, okay? Now, also, I have a beautiful Polish wife who can cook like no other, so she makes all these dishes and then even more, and I'm so lucky. But the trick is, it's actually not too hard to do. And you'll get so good at it, you start not wanting to go out to eat and get a steak because you're like, I can make a better steak at home. I don't want to order fish because I'm going to get better fish at home. And that's really where we want to get you to, okay? So here's some things that are 9 proven benefits of the ketogenic diet. You're going to obviously reduce inflammation. You're going to improve your fat burning. Your mental clarity and sharpness is going to go through the roof. You're going to have abundant energy. It's not going to peak and lower, right? Skin's going to clear up. Acne is actually, if you take out sugars, acne tends to go away for most people. So especially for young men who are struggling with that, and young women who are in like high school and stuff like that, you should really aggressively consider cutting out the sugars so that way it can really help you out, right? You can also improve your cravings. Your mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cells. It helps them function properly. And it actually reverses a little bit of aging, right? So it just causes your body to be able to get rid of those old cells and old toxins, put in good building blocks that you can build your body with, and you're going to feel and look a lot better. Okay? And then obviously there's the reduced risk of chronic disease, which is my big point because it's life-threatening. Okay? A lot of people don't realize you can get maybe 10 extra quality years there. And those can be quality years. It's not like, hey, I'm 77 and I'm barely functioning and have been barely functioning for 20 years. No, this can be, I ran the Boston Marathon yesterday and I feel freaking amazing. And now I'm 85 and I can't wait to hit 100, on my back of my freaking motorcycle with my Harley Davidson. That's what I want for all my patients, and that's what I always push for, okay? So, tips on how to win, okay? So, here's just some general guidelines that I don't think a lot of Americans realize, okay? There's a difference between being hungry and being full, okay? So normally when you're really, really hungry, you'll eat a bit, right? The hunger feeling will go away, but you won't feel full yet. And in my home growing up, it was eat until you're busting, okay? This is not really the way most of the rest of the world works, okay? Only really in America is this really pushed forward as a great way to live your life. The data actually doesn't support it. You should really eat until you are full, put it away for a second. A lot of times you'll find you're not even really that hungry anymore. If you drink plenty of water when you eat as well, you'll feel more full in general, okay? And then the next piece here is when you're doing this ketogenic diet and when you're flavoring your food, eat plenty of salt, okay? Now, everyone tells me, oh, but salt and blood pressure, and they come up with all this stuff. And I've really tried to find all the articles that go into this. And honestly, salt is awesome. Not only does it taste really good, you need it if you're working out, so you have really good electrolytes. Your body has systems in place to process out any excess salt that you may have. So just let's get the system working right, eat a good healthy diet, and salt to taste. Trust me, you'll be okay. And I haven't seen the research articles out there that are telling me, oh my gosh, salt is the devil, which for whatever reason has been all over the media for so long, and they've convinced people that don't eat fats, don't eat salt, and instead eat a whole bunch of carbs everywhere and a bunch of sugars and wonder why your body is falling apart, okay? So bonus, how can I jumpstart this fat burning loss? Okay, this is a secret, right? The research is in for men. For men, absolutely, this is a better way to go. Your testosterone, human growth hormone, everything goes through the roof when you use this. For women, research is not in yet, so I will warn you about that. And if you are trying to get pregnant, or if you are pregnant, or if you're breastfeeding, you probably need to consume more sugars and not do this kind of intermittent fasting, okay? Intermittent fasting, what it is that you eat for only a short window of each day. For me, I eat from about a 6 to an 8-hour window of the day. I eat from about 12 noon until about 8 o'clock at night at the latest, right? Sometimes only 6 o'clock. And that is intermittent fasting. I mix that with the ketogenic diet, and I'm in total control of my weight. I got up to about 200 pounds when I was at chiropractic school, and I was, in class all the time trying to get my doctorate. And we were sitting for 8 hours a day, and it was honestly miserable. And so the thing was that I just started gaining weight. It just happened because I was so inactive, right? And then when you study, you eat more, right? So then I switched to the ketogenic diet and did intermittent fasting. I didn't even work out. I didn't have time. I was still trying to finish up my doctorate, and I went from 200 pounds down to 170. Boom. It just happened in a few months. I didn't even really notice it, and it just happened automatically. The other part that was wonderful about intermittent fasting is that you'd think you'd be hungry all the time. You're really not. Your body stops trying to do this whole sugar high and low thing. You stop crashing, and you just have this nice slow burn. You're so excited for your meal, and you eat a beautiful steak or whatever it is, and a bunch of great steamed veggies or sautéed veggies, and then you just feel great. Take and go to bed after you're all done. It's absolutely phenomenal. Oh, the other thing that was really surprising for this whole diet change for me, I have always had a blood pressure of 140 over 70. I was on swim team. I've been a collegiate boxer. I was a Marine. I've run marathons, right? So I'm not unfit, and I ate a relatively healthy diet, but I still was consuming a fair amount of sugars, right? In the form of breads and pastas and things like that. As soon as I switched to the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting, my blood pressure dropped to 120 over 70. 120 over 70. So many people say, oh, well, the data says that for this data group, but it's not going to work for me. It's like, look, it worked for me. It truly did. It truly did. I got control of my weight. I now weigh whatever I want to weigh, right? It's easier to build muscle on a ketogenic diet, right? I feel great. I feel better than ever. And my blood pressure normalized. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, so let's keep going on here. Okay, so, we can't talk about diet and nutrition without going into, hey, go get outside. Go do something you love. Be physical, right? For me, I love, jujitsu, and I love martial arts and stuff like that. And I also love taking my dog and my wife on walks. Do whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Just get out there. Riding a bike, do it. Canoeing, do it. It doesn't matter. Just do it. Get outside, get that vitamin D, and get out there and do it, because that is really the key to maintaining that long-term health. If you look at the centurion studies, none of these centurions are Olympic athletes. They're just people who walk every day and work in a garden. That's the overwhelming evidence. So just get out there and be active, okay? So this next piece here that my wife put in, and I love this chart because it blows people's minds, is that most people think they're in that neutral point right in the middle. They're like, oh, I'm healthy. I get sick every week, but between that sickness, I feel okay, and that's health. That's not health. That's not even remotely health. If your family's always getting sick, you're not a healthy family. I'm just going to tell you right freaking now, okay? You should be getting sick rarely. And if somebody gets sick, it should be one member of the family that gets sick, okay? Your body should be so strong and so robust that it kicks everything that hits it. Maybe you catch you on a bad day. It's finals week, you're stressed out, you're in between jobs, and you just like some big stressor is on you, right? And your immune system drops a little bit and you get sick. But it should not be, well, here it comes, the third flu of the spring, and your whole family is just wiped out. Really? Really? We got problems, okay? Starts with a good diet. Do some good exercise. Obviously, I'm a chiropractor. I say get your nervous system maximized out. And by the way, if you're trying to gain muscle mass, ketogenic diet works great. It works phenomenally. And neurons are really similar to muscle. So if you get your nervous system as healthy as possible eating a ketogenic diet, you're going to do the same thing for your muscle and muscle building. It's wild. It's like you're designed to do this. Oh, wait, you are. Okay, so let's keep going here. So yet again, this is just showing where functional medicine, if anyone's exposed to that, a lot of times people don't understand that you can start to have dysfunction before you have disease. So just realize it's not normal to have symptoms and check engine lights going on. You're like, my blood pressure is really high. I should have thought my blood pressure is 140 over 70. I asked doctors. I would always ask anybody I could about it. Everybody's like, I guess you just burn hot. That was what I was told. You're burning hot, right? Then all of a sudden I start reading about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, let's try this ketogenic diet. And then I just tracked my numbers. I couldn't believe it. Absolutely amazing, okay? Realize that when you get a check engine light, it's time to engage the problems. Invest in your health and your wellness now. Invest in your family now because it's going to pay dividends. When your child grows up with extreme obesity and type 2 diabetes and feeling awful, a lot of times too, as a chiropractor, I couldn't believe it. We went and did a spinal screening in a small second grader class. These kids are jacked up. They are messed up. I'm looking at them with their shoulder all hiked up, and I'm like, do you have back pain? And they're like, yes. And I was like, have you told your parents about it? They said, well, yeah, but my parents laugh at me. They say I'm 5, I shouldn't, or I'm 10, I shouldn't have back pain. I haven't earned the right for my body to hurt yet. And it's like, your body should never hurt. You should be 100 feeling great. Like, if you're not, you got check engine lights. You need to take care of it. And a lot of these kids need a lot of help. So, good, cool. So this ties into what we do, okay? We are Gonstead chiropractors. We call our practice Salutogenesis Chiropractic. And luckily, the Italian community here totally gets it. Salud to health, Genesis, origins, so salutogenesis, right? We are here to maximize your health. I could just adjust you and fix your spine and get your nervous system operating okay. But my real job, my real goal is to just show you what the evidence is clearly illustrating is good health. If I can show you that, it will change everything. It will change absolutely everything for you. It will be such a massive change that you and your entire life trajectory will change. That's what I really want, okay? What I really want is for you not to be held back by the limitations of your body and your health. I want you to have unlimited options. I want you to achieve your potential, and that's really, really hard to do when your body is dealing with chronic disease and all these problems. You got check engine lights everywhere. You feel like garbage. This is not the way to live, and it doesn't take a lot to feel and be awesome, and that's really what I want for everybody, especially kiddos, because they just don't know. Adults, you get the freedom of choice. You know what I mean? If you really, really want to eat that Big Mac every day and you just don't care, great, cool, whatever. But I really, really do feel for kiddos, right? Because they don't have much of a choice and they don't know, okay? And this is super important. Okay, next big shout out here before we sign off. We're almost done, don't worry. Pediatrics and pregnancy, okay? So my wife does a whole lot of great work with this, right? Helps out kiddos a lot. A lot of kids are super addicted to sugar. Moms, if it's just you're serving them brown sugary stuff all day, every day, you're wrong. You're wrong. The data says it's wrong. Your kid's going to cry when you put them on healthy veggies and wonderful meats and everything like that for about a week, and then all of a sudden they're going to fall in love with it. And you're going to fall in love even more deeply with your super awesome kid who feels great and is doing great. Do it for yourself, okay? By the way, another quick thing, just remember, if you're trying to get pregnant, you are pregnant, or you're breastfeeding and stuff like that, ketogenic diet, you need to cheat more on sugars, okay? This is the only time I'm going to tell you, hey, cheat on those sugars, when you need to be able to gain some weight, right? You need some more energy because you're producing a little baby, right? So it's super important. Okay, so my wife made this for the New Year's resolutions. Hopefully all you guys have stuck with your New Year's resolutions and you're already losing weight in a healthy way. But I felt like this was really important to share with everybody so that way they could understand better what's going on. Hey, simple life changes, they can totally change your life. Totally change your life. And they're not that hard. There's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there. This doesn't fail. It doesn't fail. It's a slow, healthy road. It's repetitive, great choices day after day. We are here at Salutogenesis Chiropractic to help you, and there are doctors all over the country who want to help you with this. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Grayson.